decisions. A lot of people make decisions that they make for the present person. And I don't think they really understand that the person who has to deal with the consequences for any decision that you make is the person that you will become in the future. So I make my decisions right then and there. So one of the goals that I have for this year that the company is set for is our company, we want to create another division. And it's a division that we don't currently do. It's a 100% new type of work that we have to do it. You know, I'm an electrician, so I have a commercial electrical lighting company. We're doing low volt cabling now. So right now we have a whole plan team, which I actually created. I started it. And right now each individual has their own individual assignments that they have to work on. This has to be done in May too. So we're acquiring the space that's next to us at our shop. And that tenant that's in that space right now, his lease ends in May. So all of this stuff is supposed to actually jump off in May. So there's a lot of planning, like you said, that's going into it. And it's not just planning for one thing, it's planning for a whole bunch of little small things that equal up to the one thing, you know, the one goal.
So that's your expansion, right? That's your goal, to expand. And so you have that all put up in SMART goals, right?
Yeah.
And so what are some affirmations that you're saying? I know you say affirmations, right? But what are they? Your affirmations, which is your mindset. But if we say that, like I said, if I say I'm going to become a, you know, what did I say? A supermodel or something. Yeah. I don't believe I'm going to ever be a supermodel. By the way, it's not even one of my goals, but I just don't believe I will ever be a supermodel. So I can say that 6 times over and I'm never going to be one, right? And right. So what are you saying? What are some of your affirmations to get you to that goal, right? To keep your mindset on that.
So, of course, you know me, I'm Coffee Cup Chuck, so I'm always positive. So I stay positive about everything. When I say we're going to do something, I don't say we're going to try. When I was young, my mom sent me through a real critical situation where I got in trouble in school, and she sat me down in a chair because I told her I was trying to do good in school. And every time she told me to get up out the chair, every time I tried getting up out of the chair, she would hit me and I would sit back down, and she would try to tell me to get up. She'd tell me to try to get up again, and I would get up and she would hit me again. And this went on for like 15 minutes. Well, I was a kid, so it probably was like 5 minutes, but it still seemed like forever because I just kept repeating the same thing. And in the long run, I wasn't trying to do anything. I was doing what she was telling me to do. So the word try doesn't exist. So I don't use the word try in anything. We're either going to do it or not. And that's the way I think. My affirmations are always based on actually affirming that I am going to do, or I'm in the process of doing the thing that I want, or the thing that I have to, that I have to achieve. See, I'm saying have to right now because I have to do, when I set myself to do something, we're going to do it. And guess what? We might fail in attempting to do that. But guess what? If you continue doing what you're setting yourself out to do, you're still in the process of affirming. So that's
awesome. But I don't like the way your mom pounded that in your head. That's not a good way to do it.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, but it worked. Yeah, the word try doesn't exist. You're either going to do it, or you're going to attempt to do it and fail and keep doing it, or you're going to quit. Mm-hmm. So you're either doing it or you're not doing it. The word try is a filler word that is just a useful word, man. So if I would definitely tell anyone to delete that word from your whole mindset. Don't ever use the word because it's just belittling you. So.
Well, and I love that. And Chuck, you are one of the most positive people I know. I feel I'm really positive, but there is one thing that you said, and I'm not going to call you out. Oh, no, wait, I am. He said, I'm always positive, which is not true. Because unless you're Jesus, you're not always positive. You are not always perfect. Some days you have a bad day and you go, oh my gosh, it's raining and all it's going to do is keep raining. And we all get there, Chuck, even you. As much as I love you and I know you're the most positive person, I know you well enough that I've seen you when you've been in a, you know what I'm saying? I'm always going to be late, or I'm whatever's going to happen, because we all get in that and it's okay.
Yes.
Literally, it is okay to have a bad mindset. Did you know that? I know Chuck's saying don't have a bad, but it is okay. We are human. We are going to have bad days. We're going to have a bad mindset. But what is not okay is to stay there, right? So if you have a death in the family, you lose your house, all this bad crap can happen in life because we live in a sinful world. Let's be real. But we can't stay there, right? And Chuck quoted me one time when somebody asks you, is the cup half empty or half full? Right? What is it? I tell everybody that's a trick question. It's fillable. We have to remember that it is fillable. But sometimes you might look at your cup and go, oh my gosh, it's half empty. All this is happening. And me, I'm a positive person. I'm all about you can control your mindset. But some days, do you want to? If you're like me, I'm human. Remember through the pandemic? Oh my God. You know, my people's mindset got messed up through that pandemic. I cried for 2 weeks. I did not know what to do. I was paralyzed. And then I had to work through it and pray about it and then change my mindset. And finally, God's like, you have a whole toolbox. So they were shutting down all these small to mid-sized businesses, which sucked. And they were literally, and it was breaking my heart because those are who I work with. Those are my clients. I had people going to sign contracts with me that would not, because what are they supposed to do? These poor small to mid-sized businesses. I was paralyzed for 2 weeks. My mindset was, oh no, what am I going to do? And I did not have a good mindset. I don't know about the rest of you, but through the pandemic, it affected my mindset. Until one day I woke up and I was praying and God says, you have a whole toolbox. Go help as many people. So I went out and I did that. And I helped as many people as I could in the Kansas City area. But even then, I have a heart. I am very heart driven. Anybody that knows me knows I work from my heart. That's just who I am. I'm not so head driven. And you can't change that about me. Believe me, I've tried it. I wish I could sometimes, because being a heart person and wearing your heart on the sleeve is not the easiest job in the world. Just to let you know, people are like, oh, that's great. No, it's not. Sometimes you wish you were just a head person. So I went and I tried to help all these businesses and they were doing this to me. And I'm like, no, open your hand. We're all in this together. No, it's different. I get our boats are different. We're in this differently. But if we could start helping each other, and you know who I could only help? Were those that wanted to help themselves. Do you know who I want to help? I'm still this way because I'm such a heart person. I want to help everybody, but I can't help everybody. I can only help those that want to help others. And in the process of doing that, I end up winning a couple of awards and silly stuff, not silly stuff, right? Because people are like, Sherry, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm doing the next thing that I feel that God wants me to do. And I had to change my mindset. And for 2 weeks, I was messed up. And yet I'm a coach and I feel like I'm positive, but life can mess us up. There's another time I got really, really messed up. Well, actually, there's 2 other times I could tell you the story. Is one time, 9/11, my brother died in the Pentagon, literally, and he was never identified. And I was pregnant through that. My mindset was not, and I was angry that my brother died, and I had to work through all that. But then I got to the other side because I didn't stay there. That's what matters. I didn't stay there. My brother was in my life for 37 years. He made me who I am today. He could have been your brother, but God blessed him with me. But I had to finally get there, right? Believe me, those processes, when life happens, those are a couple times I can tell you, it was not easy for me to just snap my fingers and change my mindset. Another time, right after we buried my brother in the Pentagon, 9/11, we got ripped off on a house. Not only did I get ripped off on a house, but my baby, who was a high-risk pregnancy, got took 6 days early through 9/11, because of 9/11, she turned blue because it had Staphylococcus mold. She was 10 weeks old. That happened to her twice. And she ended up the first 2 years of her life at Children's Mercy Hospital with severe asthma. Praise God, she will be 21 on Sunday, and she's still here. But do you think my mindset was great through those things? No, it was not. But over time, you have to start saying, look at the church community. Look how much other people are helping me. And if you're like me, I would rather help others. And you know what? I had to let people help me. And God threw me on my face in the middle of that. He said, you need to humble yourself. I said, what are you talking about? What are you even talking about, God? I don't want people to help me because I can take care of me. And God said, wow, you're stealing other people's joy. I said, what are you talking about? How do you feel when you help somebody else? Don't you guys feel great when you get to help somebody else? How about if they don't let you help them? That's being selfish. God pulled me through that. And I'm very independent and I can do it on my own. And God's like, yeah, no, Sherry. So I had to change my mindset in that and realize that I was helping others by allowing other people to come and help my family. So there's so many times, those are just 3 of my huge strategies. A bunch of other stuff, of course, happens in life, right? I mean, I've been married to an abusive alcoholic and a bunch of other crap happens in our life. But there's times when stuff happens. And even somebody like me who tries to say my cup is fillable. And I know it is, but until I go get my mindset right? So I have bad news for you. 2023 is coming up. We're going to have a phenomenal year, but you have goals. And you know what's going to happen along the way? Crap's going to happen. And it's okay if you get a bad mindset. My mom almost died last July. My mom really shouldn't be here right now. But if you lose somebody, and I've had a lot of friends just recently lose their parents. If you lose somebody important, you lose your house, 9/11 happens, the pandemic happens, stuff will happen. And it's okay. Write this down. It is okay to have a bad day and not have good mindset. I hate it when people try to tell me you have to always have. No, you don't. But you know what's not okay? To stay there. That's where you pull on others. That's where you read your scripture. That's where you do your journaling, right? That's where you start finding your blessings along the way. But we all have those hard days. And I know for a fact, if you guys ever hear Chuck's story, you will find out that he's overcame a lot, had some hard days. And I know his mindset wasn't always the best, but you know what he did? He got to the other side by his mindset because he's a phenomenal person. What I'm trying to say is that people don't realize that. They always look at people's victory and where they're at. You go look at these movie stars, you look at you look at all these people and you're like, oh, well, they just always had the right mindset. No, they didn't. Life happens. So I'm letting you know that it's okay to have a bad mindset, but it's not okay to stay there because every thought that we have is not true, right? We can think bad things. Do you know this last year, the last 6 months of this year, I went through a lot. I even had to put 2 dogs down. A lot happened to me. And then I realized I was getting pulled back to that old, right? And I was dealing with toxic family and dealing with a lot. But until you realize that you're having a bad mindset, you can't change it. So my very first, if you guys want to, I'm going to let you know, I want Debbie to talk too, though. But I want you to know that I have all these workshop sheets on mindset. And I know some of you have my book. First chapter is on mindset. And the very first thing we're going to do is be honest about where we're at with our mindset. Because if we're not honest and we don't say, regarding health, I just think I'm always going to be overweight. Regarding business, right? And so it talks about our different areas. But if we're not honest where we're at, right, then we can't move forward. So the first thing is to admit where we're at, right? Debbie, not to make you feel like now that I went into my big soapbox here, but I got pretty passionate about what's going on because I see that over and over again. People think it's bad because they had a bad day, but that's not true. Because we're all going to have bad days as long as we're in this earth. When we go to heaven, oh my gosh, there won't be any more bad days. But in the meantime, we have to always be working, always working on our mindset. Debbie, what is one of your goals though?
Oh, I always have a lot of goals, Sherry, but there's one of them that kind of highlights right now that I really don't know exactly how to deal with. Need to find a way, actually, this is a part of the staff. I need to be able to change the staff's mindset and be able to make them have a more positive attitude. Can't do it all the time, of course. I'm learning that right now. But
And you can't control other people, but this is where, guess who I would like to, after I said all that about mindset, guess who I admire and know that knows how to do that because he's worked on that is Chuck. Chuck, you had some mindset issues with your team and you have a whole story on how you overcame that because I know that because I've talked to Chuck because again, he's a positive person. Chuck, what would your suggestion be and how did you deal with your staff when you had that problem?
So first of all, I'm a book reader and I read a lot of books. I had a friend who was able to franchise his business, barbershop business, which is something that's pretty unique to do. But he was able to do it because he read a book called, what was it? The E-Myth Revisited.
That's a real good book.
And this book helped me understand the difference between a worker, a manager, and an owner. And the owner, as the entrepreneur, has so many different obligations and responsibilities that has nothing to do with that worker. So you have this manager that's in between the worker and the entrepreneur that is supposed to be set there to help kind of like filter through, act as a filter. And if that manager doesn't have his stuff together, everything's screwed up. But at the same time, if that entrepreneur doesn't have what he's supposed to be doing going well with himself, same thing can happen as same thing with the worker. So what I was able to do using this book is I was able to understand the things that the manager went through, and I was able to understand the worker, and and being able to understand the people that in their jobs and their roles, it made it easier for me to react to certain things. So I've been in positions at my job where I've been wrong, and I've been able to say, hey, check this out. This situation that happened, I want to apologize for it because you know what? I probably shouldn't have did that. So doing these type of things shows a lot of integrity, and being able to resource great points of resource is, man, it's awesome. And if anyone wants to build a better relationship in any of their environments, even outside of the work environment, this E-Myth book is a good book to read. So I would definitely, it did help out, and that's what I have been using to work my way around the shop. Hey, and it even works with clients, because sometimes you get these clients that are rude or upset, or you just don't know what they're going through. And as long as you understand who you are, what role you're supposed to play, and you understand that they are who they are, they're a customer or they're a client, as long as you don't forget that, it makes it a lot easier for you to transition into the next situation or your next, I'm losing my words here, but you get the point of what I'm trying to say. Communication is the biggest thing. So I would definitely end off by saying, sharpen your communication, your understanding of each other. And once you do that, things should definitely get a lot better.
Well, and then Chuck, I know for a minute, I mean, just because I've talked with Chuck before and he is phenomenal, but Chuck, for a minute did back off with his company, and he thought, well, they can go on their own. And then you realize that you need to have a meeting. Don't you have like an empowering meeting? Can you talk a little bit about that, Chuck? Because he does like an empowering, I don't know what he wants to call it, but I thought that's such a great way to run your company, to do the, he was trying to back off, and then he realized that they needed a little bit more, what do you want to call it? You have your raw meeting or your empowerment meeting.
Yeah, I call it the midweek madness meeting. And it's like, so during the week, a lot happens on Monday, and Friday, nobody ain't trying to hear you. So you got to distinguish the time of the week where you are going to be heard. And Wednesday is, I mean, it's kind of like the perfect day to do it because it's in the middle of things. But I also throw an extra spice on top of it. I give them the opportunity to the B word. I'm gonna say that. And I let them release on me. So I tell them, hey, we go through the rigmarole of, hey, you guys are jacking up or you guys are doing awesome. And then we go through where are we at in the week, where we need to be before the end of the week. And then I kind of pump them up with, hey man, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this coming up. I like to do like escape rooms with my guys. I like to do main event. We go places just to kind of make a family, just so they care about their work. And, because I'm serious, it's hard to keep employees. So you got to make them feel like family, or, they can wander easy. So we kind of plan stuff during this time. And then I turn the table over to them. So I tell them, hey, what we need to change. If you were my boss, what would you be telling me? I kind of make it fun for them. And you get a lot of feedback from that because you make it easy for them to not feel like you're being called out because you're jokeful about it. You're making it, and then it gives them a sense of empowerment. And I got that out of that book too, that E-Myth book. You give the power to the people that need the power. And I'm telling you, just by giving them that day, giving them that hour, and it's not really an hour, it's about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but you give them that time to not have to work. And they also, hey man, I'm making money sitting here talking about, this little stuff. So those are techniques that I've been able to use. But like I said, I'm only able to do it because of the books, you reading and researching the things that you want. Find out or make a bullet note of what you want to improve, and read a book about it.
Exactly. There's so many books and podcasts and all those things that we can go out there and listen. Debbie, you've been in all kinds of leadership roles, and I know you've put different hats on, and you've been successful. So Chuck had some great, because he's a leader, but I think we're all leaders. Dancing, how do you say your name again? I want to say it right.
Danica,
you're running your own business. We're leaders when we're running our own business. And it's really good when you can get a bunch of leaders, because I do masterminds and I get a bunch of leaders together. We get leaders together, and then we listen to how Chuck leads, and we listen to how Debbie leads, and how Dan, oh my gosh, why can't I not say your name?
Say Monica.
Danza.
No, say Monica. Danica.
So Danica, you are running your own business. So that makes you a leader as well. And to be able to get from 3 parties, what do you do again, Danica? Can you tell everybody?
I run a slumber party and glamping business, so I party all the time.
And she does a phenomenal job with it. You should see her stuff. It's amazing.
I met her before.
Yes, and Danica is amazing.
We met at the small business networking group on the roof. You showed me all your coffee stuff. I loved it.
Yes, that's
Coffee on YouTube. Yep.
And she has the coolest business, and she doesn't just do it for little kids, because you'll do it for adults as well.
Correct.
You
It
work
could
with
be
Julie
bridal
too?
shower, baby shower, what is it?
You work with
Birthday
Julie too,
parties,
don't
all
you?
that. Huh?
The cocktail lady that has,
that's Paige.
yeah, Paige, yeah, duh.
Yeah, Paige.
Oh yeah, Paige does that. Those two
Paige
could
and I
just
work
have a
really
party
good together.
together.
Yep.
Yes.
We throw good parties.
Yes. So your
So
name?
anyway,
Yeah, my name's Danica, and my company is Under the Stars KC.
I got you. I think I'm friends with you on Instagram. I think
You are.
yeah, and I'm sorry, we should have had everybody introduce, and that's what I'd like to do now. So Danica, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell what you
Sure.
do. And then
Sure.
I'll have everybody go around and do that. That's how we really should have started, but I started right with the meat and potatoes of mindset. Come on.
So I'm Danica. I have been in the glamping community and industry for over 3 years, but I moved from Arizona last January, and so I launched my own glamping slumber party business in April of 2022, and I am a mobile delivery business. They are twin air size mattresses, so they fit adults and kids. But I also custom made luxury picnic tables, and so there's 5 foot long white picnic tables that can be set up for kids' height, adults picnics, and then I also have legs enough to be tall. So we've done some like bridal or rehearsal dinners with chairs tucked under them, and so it's really a unique way to celebrate. It helps you be on trend with all the stuff that you see for the parties industry. And yeah, last year I had 17 parties in 6 months. So that's pretty successful for me as a first start. And this year we'll hope to double it. So that's right.
No, you need to reword that. We are going to
I'm
double
going
it.
to double it.
So you need to write
So-
that down and
I'm
when
going
you're
to
gonna do that. Because remember Hope and what did Chuck's mom be mean to him about saying?
Trying, no
I'm gonna
trying.
try. We're gonna, all those, what are those called? Those are not those good words. This is what we're doing for 2023.
So
And when
I'm
our
going to have
mindsets-
24 parties by July because that'll be 6 months. And so I will be doubling my parties by July.
And that's what you got to write down. I'm gonna have 24 by, and then you can back. So when we have our ends and mean, right, then we can backtrack. What does that mean? How many do we need each week? Right? You backtrack so that you can meet those goals. But our mindset, that's what this whole 4-day challenge is about, is our mindset gets in the way. You get that one person that says, who are you to whatever, right? Believe it or not, I'm going to tell you, and I tell people this, I was diagnosed with a form of dyslexia when I was in 3rd grade. I know Debbie knows because her and I do Toastmasters together, and I've done a lot of speeches and stuff. And so who am I to write a book? But yet I wrote a book, right? Who am I to do everything I do? But that's not true, right? That's like saying I'm in a wheelchair and I can't play softball. Wait a minute, I have friends that are in wheelchairs and they still play softball, right? So we can do those things that people say that we can't do. And so when you do a goal like you have, you got to make sure you're not saying I'm going to try, or what was the other, I hope. You said hope. No, you're not. I'm going to do.
I'm going to have 24 parties by July.
Yes. And now we're going to backtrack how many. You're going to go back and you're going to need to backtrack how many weeks those are. But I gave everybody a challenge, and I do want to go around again. But if you guys have not gotten my worksheets, if you go out to my website, you can download all my worksheets on mindset. And if you have my book, it'll go right along with my book. But if you don't have my book, you still could use these worksheets, and they're absolutely free on my website. And my book, of course, is out on Amazon. And just to let you know, tonight, I actually have a book signing and a jewelry party, and we're going to do wine, and we're going to have some appetizers and a lot of fun. So if you guys are interested in that, you could always show up to that. But also we can meet in person and you can get a book if you haven't got my book. But you don't have to have my book to use my worksheets, right? It's just another tool that will help you with my worksheets. But this is all of chapter 1. You can download all those worksheets for free. Chuck, can you tell us what you do and a little bit about you? He has multiple things going on though. Chuck's phenomenal. So anyway, go ahead, Chuck.
So I own an electrical lighting company called Luminous Technologies. Actually, I'm co-owner of the company. We specialize in commercial electrical lighting. We specialize in commercial electrical lighting installations, repair, retrofitting, LED lights. We work for like the county of Johnson, a bunch of Taco Bells, home associations. We do a lot of work for property management companies like the major ones around the city. And I'm also the founder of an investment group called TAMIC. which is an acronym for the American Mastermind Investment Club, which came from an idea from a book called Think and Grow Rich. That right there just gave me the even more belief in myself to continue on. I have ADHD very bad, so I'm always, so in order to kind of control everything, I have to release things. So I started, I became the author of a blog called The First Cup KC, which I do a bunch of cups every morning. I mean, they're all over the place around me right now, but my wife makes the cups and she puts images on them. I kind of like give her 10 days of images. She puts the images on the cup that each image represents a topic that I speak about Monday through Friday. These messages are inspirational, motivational, and educational. I am a very positive person, like I said, so I like to wake people up or get people during the day, give them something to remember that might help jolt them back in the direction where they need to be. I thought that was kind of corny in the beginning. Coffee Cup Chuck, man, that sounds kind of corny. That sounds lame. But I gave it a shot anyway, because it's not for me. It's for everyone who needs it and who reads it. So I was able to get over that fear of what people would think of it. And it kind of launched off and kicked off into a podcast. So now I'm the host of a podcast, and that podcast likes to highlight special people or people with talents or people who have that have jobs or services that are kind of unique and a lot of people don't know about. I like to highlight people who overcame things that the normal person doesn't overcome, just to give other people who might be going through those things an idea or opportunity to see that, yeah, you can get over it too. Just gotta believe and think the opposite of what you're doing. So, and now I'm becoming a public speaker, and I'm writing an autobiography book, and I'm in the process of taking the First Cup KC cups, the morning cups, and turning it into kind of like a daily bread. So I have some publishers that are kind of not publishers, but writers that's teaming up with me to put that book together to where it's published. So very busy guy. Like I said, we're also looking to scale the company. So that's adding even more stuff to the plate. So I'll stay busy.
And he has a whole story on overcoming, and he will actually be at, what is it called? The Becoming the Best Version. What's the name of the conference in St. Louis?
Becoming the Best You.
Yeah, Becoming the Best You. He's one of our speakers at
Hey,
the
you know
conference,
what?
and it will, huh?
You know what? So I haven't brought out the first cup today yet, because when I woke up this morning, I kind of got diverted. So this is the first cup today. And this is investing in yourself. And I'm writing it up right now. And what I'm writing is the BTBY conference. It costs money to get in, of course, but you can literally change your life.
Well, and two of the speakers are on here, Chuck.
Yes, I know. And I'm saying it can
Chuck
change.
is one of the speakers, and I won't tell you who the other one is. But yeah, Chuck will be down there, and it will be in St. Louis, and it'll be a great event. We have like 38 speakers, right, Chuck?
I think it's even more than that.
Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger. So when you change your
talk a lot.
mindset, and by the way, Chuck, if you have not followed him on his podcast, I would definitely suggest it. But there's one podcast that has somebody on there that you should listen to that podcast, because you should listen to that person. And what do you call that person? What do you call them? God's little helper?
God's little helper.
Yeah, that's what he calls me, but I'm on his podcast. But no, his podcast is phenomenal. And Chuck has a lot of things that he has overcame. He definitely has a rags to riches type story. His is phenomenal. So anyway, if you follow him, he's amazing. And Debbie, oh my gosh, Debbie's done so many leadership stuff in Toastmasters, and Debbie's phenomenal. She always does all kinds of amazing things. Can't believe you're like, I don't know how to lead my team. Come on, Debbie. You could teach other people how to do this. You've done so much. But anyway, Debbie is phenomenal. And Debbie, just tell them what you do and who you are and a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I work for a local mental health center, and I'm the lead bean counter over here. Yeah, motivating staff and helping employees and trying to do the right things, and that's where I'm at right now. I've done a little bit of consulting here and there, but just touched upon that because it's never really taken off because I've never put the time into it like I need to.
Well, and then you've motivated people that work for nonprofits that aren't even getting paid, like in Toastmasters, you've been way up in district. So you've motivated people that have nothing, not even a paycheck. There's no reason for them to, right? So you can do that. It's all about trying to put those pieces together and pulling those resources together and resourcing up what you need with leading your team at work. So you are more than qualified to do that. And sometimes people are difficult to lead, right? I love people because they're like snowflakes, but they're all different. And sometimes they can just be all over the right spectrum of trying to figure out how to deal with
all
them.
the personalities.
Yeah, all the different personalities, but that's great. And Debbie does a lot of public speaking as well. So she's also a public speaker. So she's done quite a bit of that. So see, we have some phenomenal people on here. And people overcome things, and you got great things coming up, right? As your mindset's changing. So, what was I going to say? Oh, how did you guys start off the first of the year? Did you just decide you were going to put all your goals together? How do you end up the end of the year? What do you guys usually do when the calendar, so to speak, changes from 2022 to 2023? What do you decide to do? Danica?
For me, so I have two small kids. I have an 8 and a 6-year-old too. We actually spent the end of the year sick for 3 whole weeks, real sick and real down and out. And you know, that talking about mindset, that can do so much for your mindset when the holidays are spent indoors and healing and going through all of that. So I went into 2023 at the beginning, just in a dark place about how, you know, I'm only 8 months in, running into competitors, just kind of that mindset of lack of confidence. And so how I get out of those things is I attend a shit ton of stuff like this all the time. So I attended a SMART goals meeting already and set SMART goals for this year with some specific things. I actually launched my own networking group in January. That was a one of the gifts God has given me is connector and really being able to connect people. And so I am in the party industry, not just the wedding industry. And there's a gap in our industry of people who do princesses and tea parties that don't connect with each other because they're not part of the wedding group. And so my mindset is connecting those people, working with each other, loving on each other, expanding our growth. And so I set a Monday monthly mindset networking group for that group of people to really work together and get to know each other. And so that was another thing that just helped me change my mindset, was just like, okay, just get back to work. Getting back to work, putting pen on paper, setting SMART goals, taking time to look at what I actually did last year. July was my first sale ever. So from July to December, what I accomplished, and kind of getting out of that funk of lack of confidence. And so that's what I've done so far this year.
Well, and you've been killing it. Like you said, you've been in business so long. And so when you start looking at what you've already done, then you can see where you can still go, right? And I want to give you kudos on getting into those. It's who we decide to surround ourselves with, right? Is going to matter with our mindset. So I had to go. I didn't have to go. I guess I chose to go, right? Because we don't have to do anything. I chose, right? Dealing with my parents, aging parents and things. And I haven't lived at home since I was 17. And I don't get to choose what environment I came from, right? But I get to choose who I am today. And so when I was dealing with that environment, which I'm still, right? But you have to do it with boundaries, with whatever, you have to make sure that you're still filling up your cup, because remember, it's fillable. You just told me that your cup was getting low, and you're a mom, and that is a hard job, and 6 kids, and I have 4. So I tell everybody this, Danica, I always tell people this: if I did a 13-year-old, 3, 2, and a newborn, and I survived, then you can survive, right? I did that and ran my own business. And some days it was a zoo. And that's partly why I do what I do today, because it's like, I get it. And being a mom, it can be a hard job, or even a parent, right? People are like, right? That can be a hard job. And dealing with toxic family can be hard. But we need to go to those people. So I want to really give you kudos that you're here, because that's what I was like looking at. I was looking at, okay, we're the week of the 16th. So we are what, 3 weeks into 2023? And people start losing their vision and their purpose and their goals because their mindset, because stuff happens. And yours sounds like it wasn't good at the end of the year, which is exactly what happened to me. I mean, it was different, right? But I had 6 months of, I told somebody I could write a country song. If you heard what happened from July to December with me, you would be like, what the heck? And I said, I could write a country song. And somebody goes, yeah, but you didn't get divorced. And I'm like, oh my gosh, anybody. Danica, you don't know me probably well enough, but you can ask Chuck or Debbie what I would do if my husband, I mean, I'm like married to love of my life, and yeah, and Debbie personally knows him, and yeah, I mean, you know, he's all that in a bag of chips. There's no way. So all of a sudden when somebody said that to me, I was like, oh yeah, I can't write a country song. I still got my family. I still got those people that matter, right? Like my husband, like my friends, and I still got. So that's what we sometimes have to get back. And so I just want to give you kudos that that's what you did. You ran to all those places. And then you even said, I'm not the only one in this. And so you started this mindset thing. And I bet you've made some good connections.
Yeah, I mean, what's really great is that you can pull those people in that you're not connecting with. I've gone to, you know, I've met you at networking, I met Chuck at networking. So I've gone to a lot of that over the last year, and was just missing that gap of the party industry. And hey, if I have all of this business going on, who can I refer to? Who can I work with to enhance my client's experience? And so, you know, and we're the people that showed, it's a small group of 20 and 6 people showed up. So that was really successful for me. I think, and they all left with saying that they got something out of it, and that they're getting an education from it, and that we're really helping each other. And we're all 3 years and under businesses, so are all brand new in that aspect as well. So it's definitely helps me to change my mindset when I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one feeling a lack of confidence today in my business. I'm not the only one feeling, what am I going to do with all this accounting? I'm not the only one feeling these things. And so that's what's helped me get from where I was at the end of the year to where I'm in today.
Which is great. And that's what I'm saying. You went and I call that resourcing up. Write that down. It's called resourcing up. Sometimes we don't know how to do, right? And you're talking about bookkeeping. And as entrepreneurs, we all do that up and down. But I love it when people think that you have competitors. I mean, I have competitors. Maybe you need to go look at that. But I do coaching, and I'm a transformational coach. So I work with people about creating the life and business that they love, right? Because life's too short. But there's nobody that's like me. Thank God. I know you guys are all saying, thank God. I got a lot of passion, if you hear me, right? But there's nobody that's me. There's nobody that's you. So when we say other people are doing those party industries or whatever they're doing, but they're not doing it like you. And so sometimes I think part of our mindset can go, yeah, but look at that coach that's doing so much better, or look at that speaker that's doing so much better, or look at, right? But remember, there's only one of you. And that's what people are looking for when they're like hiring you or working with you, is they want They want your service, yes, but they want it the way you deliver it, right? So as you're moving forward, they want it that way. And so your ideal clients are those people, because you were talking about that you do weddings, you do birthday parties, you do, right? But you had 20 people, you said, in that group, or just 6? Not just, I'm sorry, that's a bad word. Did you have 20 people or 6 amazing people?
I have
Which
20
one
on,
did you
I have 20 on it's an online Facebook group. So I have 20 on the group in general, and 6 showed up to the face-to-face.
But those are the
networking
people
meeting.
that showed up, right? Today we have 4 people. We have
Yeah.
actually 3 amazing people that I know on here. And so we have the people that need to be here. And so when you have those 6, you have those people, and you can build on that. And that's great. And I just want to give you attaboys. Chuck, how did you end your business? I mean, you're at end of the year, and how did you start your starting of the year? What was your planning? What was your,
Well, I know I started my year getting attacked by a bat.
and then he made a story out of it.
No, so we had I ended the year with my speaking group. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be a professional speaker. So
No, excuse me, you're going to change that. You're not going to be. I am a professional speaker.
yes,
Write that down, and don't say I'm gonna be.
yes, you're right. My accountability coach. I do want to say that I heard the competitor thing come up. And I just wanted to give you guys a different view on competitors, because a lot of people like to call them competitors because they might share the same services that we have. But I read somewhere that if you look at anyone that does what you do or has the possibilities of taking away any clients that you might have, don't look at them like they're competitors. Look at them like they're accountability coaches, because they are the ones that are most likely to hold you accountable for the things that you do in your field. So they are coaches, and they are your mentors, and they are every positive aspect that you need to make a successful business run. So utilize that, and it might help out a little bit in the future with anything that you might come across with your so-called competitors. But thank you, Sherry, for constantly pushing us to reword ourselves, because that really does make a big impact, man. It does. I do need to change that, because I say it, but I don't say it to mean it. I say it just as a filler. But you're right. The things that you do say have a tendency to come into fruition, because everything that you see around you is it was a thought first. So,
Well, and he is a public speaker. He already does podcasts. He's already does that Coffee Cup Chuck. You're doing so much public speaking already, Chuck. So you are a public speaker. I'm not becoming you are a public speaker. You can say I'm becoming a better and better public speaker over time. You could write that as part of your affirmation. But what I was really asking people was, how did they end the year with coming up with goals? You talked about that you ended up, being sick, but then you reset your goals, right? And so that's what we do. A lot of times we'll end our year with setting up our goals, looking at where we're at, where we want to go. How did you end your year, Debbie, as far as like setting up your goals and trying to get where you wanted to be for getting where you wanted to be for 2023, right?
Just not really getting things solidified. So lots of ideas, knowing where I need to go with some different things, but not really actually following through and setting my goals. I'm bad.
No, you're not. We're 3 weeks into January. We do not have set goals on December 31st. I guess you didn't hear that. I told you guys this. We don't have to do that. Today, we get to set goals and set them as SMART goals. And one of our goals could be, don't use those. Debbie and I know about those filler words, except for we're taking it further than that. Don't use those filler words of I'm what is it? Becoming I don't even know. I'm gonna be a public speaker, or you know, I'm always late or whatever we say, right? Those negative things that we don't even realize that we're saying to ourselves all the time. Is that making you become the best version of you? Is that taking you where you want to be? Because if it's not, then why are you saying that to yourself? And I'm friends with, you know, several of you that are on here. And would you say that to me? Would you say that to your friends? Would you say, well, you're trying to do, or would you say you're going to, you're going to do, right? So why do we talk nicer to our friends or other people sometimes than we do to ourselves? So we could start catching ourselves doing that. And one thing to ask yourself a lot, and I know I would say everybody on this call is positive people, but we still do this. Would you say that to a friend before you even think about saying it to yourself? I lack confidence. No, you don't lack confidence. We all, one of my pastor friend, again, I seen a pastor friend of mine yesterday, and he lives in Washington and he's visiting. And he told me this. He was like, what did he tell me? I need affirmation a lot. I need affirmation a lot. I need to be told that I'm all that a lot. And I said, who doesn't need that? Who doesn't need to be told that they're great? Who doesn't need, you're telling me you don't need somebody to say you're killing it? Everybody needs those affirmations. And he's like, well, I need those. And I'm like, everybody needs those. And if you go give them to everybody else, but you're not giving them yourself, or you're not around those people that affirm where you're going, then maybe you need to get some more new people to be around, right? You do know that we outgrow people as our mindset grows. We will outgrow people, and it'll be like, these people aren't telling me or believing in me the way I need them to support and believe me. So again, the very first, what we will meet again on tomorrow over lunch hour, and I'm recording these in case you missed them, but I would love for you to go, and I can send you the link so you guys can download these worksheets. But the very first thing for day one is just start thinking, rank where you're at with your health, in your business, in your relationships, in your finances. And Chuck talked about personal development, right? Reading, podcast, where are you with those? In your spirituality. So I teach about spirituality as the core of who you are. I'm a Christian. You might not be a Christian, but still spirituality is the core of who everybody is. And so we have these 6 different areas, and that's what I want you to do, is to take this self-reflecting of where are you in these areas, and be honest, because nobody needs to see this piece of paper. And tomorrow, if you want to share some of it, that's great. But if you don't need to share it. But if we're not honest with ourselves, with where we're at, then we can't change our mindset. Remember? Because the last 6 months of 2022 did not go the way Sherry Berger wished it would have went. I'm going to be honest with you. And until I realized that my father and some other things were taking me back to where I don't live anymore, I couldn't say, oh, wait, I'm not going to do that. Because it took me a minute to realize what was going on. And so if you do something like this, this helps you figure out where you're really at. And then day 2 will take you to talking about the seasons of where you're at in your business and things. And again, if you have my book, it'd be easier to do some of this, but I promise you can go through some of these worksheets without it. So this is just to help you start evaluating, where are you right now? Because the name of my business is Here to There. So where are you right now in your mindset and your goals, and where do you want to be? Because you know what, you got to move to the next level with your mindset, or to your next level. Because what did Chuck say? You've never been that future self. You've never been there. You've never had that mindset of being that person. So we got to work daily on our mindsets. And I'm glad that a lot of you told me you do affirmations. Affirmations are great. Journaling and talking about your blessings, right? And remember what I told you guys? I said, man, I could have wrote a country song. All these things. I put 2 dogs down in 5 months. My mom almost died. My dad was doing this. I could tell you all this stuff. And somebody looked at me and goes, yeah, but your husband didn't divorce you. You haven't got divorced, so you can't get a country song. And all of a sudden I went, oh, I'm not divorced. I got phenomenal people, right? You can say all this crap's happening in your life, and putting down 2 dogs in 5 months is no fun. I'm just going to let you know. And my 3rd dog is very lost right now. And that's not fun. And I'm still somewhat grieving about it. That's normal, right? But to stay there and not realize, hey, I still have this 1 dog. I have these amazing friends. I have, right? What you do have. So anyway, but first you got to see where you're at. So anyway, yeah, that would be my challenge. If you guys could go download and like at least go through day 1 and day 2 of these worksheets. And if you don't have my book, like I said, we could meet up and you could get my book, but you don't have to have my book. And then tonight, I literally am going to have a book signing and a happy hour. And so if you guys are interested in that, I would give one more challenge if everybody could do this. If you guys would drop in the comments, your contact information, just so that you guys can connect with LinkedIn and know who each other is. Because you know what? There's power in knowing more phenomenal people. And we have a bunch of phenomenal people on this call. So if you guys would do that for each other, not for me, because I have all your contact, that would be a great thing, I think, to close. And I don't know if you guys have anything else that you like last minute things that you want to talk about or say, but but yeah, you guys could find each other on LinkedIn, or you could, because there's power in networking. Debbie has a JOB, but she's maybe always looking for another JOB. Debbie does Toastmasters. You know what I mean? Us 3 are self-employed, but that doesn't mean. But like if you'll put your social media or your website or wherever you want people to connect, that would be great. And you guys do know how to save these chats. Plus you could just copy and paste them. But I think it'd be great if we connect to each other and figure out how we can support and help each other too. And Debbie, which Toastmasters are you in right now? Are you still in Suburban, Debbie?
Absolutely. I'm still with Suburban. They've been around too many years to let them go.
Well, and you almost should put that down there. If you guys ever want to join Toastmasters, that's a great organization for, and some people are like, I don't want to be a professional speaker. You know what? No matter what you're speaking, you always are speaking. And if you run your own business, you have to speak. You don't have to be a professional speaker, but we have them. We have world champion speakers in Toastmasters. And then we have people that are just trying to make sure they get better messages out in the community for growing their business. So Toastmasters are a great group. Chuck, I don't know if you could drop in there if you want to. Like I said, Chuck and I will be at the Becoming the Best Version of You conference, which will be in St. Louis coming up. There's just a lot of good events coming up. Danica, what do you have
going to
coming
be at ATA tomorrow?
Tomorrow afternoon?
Is that where your book signing is?
No, my book signing is tonight.
I mean tonight, sorry.
Yes, and I can actually drop it in here if you want. I will actually be over
Yeah,
at
what time? Where is it at and what time is it again?
yeah, I will. Let me see if it will let me drop it in here. What the heck is that? We don't want that.
I have signed up for a vision board with some of my
That's phenomenal.
So we're doing a vision board on February 11th and getting together. So that's what
That's a really good thing. And tonight my book signing will be, let me see, I can get all the information. And I'll drop it in there in case people want to stop by. But yeah, there'll be wine, food, and I will be there signing. But we're just trying to, let's see, it's called New.
So which ACA is it at?
It's not. It's at it's a Park Lanes jewelry party with my book signing and wine and, what do you want to call it? Everybody's invited to stop by. It's just an open house, and I'm doing it at a different location. Huh? It'll be in Overland Park.
What time is it between though?
I'm pulling that up right now. You think starts at 6:30 and it gets over, I think, at 9.
Okay, yeah, that gives me a little time because I was about to say I got the podcast at 6. But those are quick, those are a lot faster now because we've changed the format of it. So
Well, yeah, and people should follow you on your phone. Do you have like a LinkedIn, a link tree or something where people can find all that
I
stuff?
got a link tree, man, but golly, I'll be doing so much stuff. It's just easier to go to chuckdoyle.com because everything's there. It just
There you go.
and the
So
social
that's where
media,
you would find his
social
stuff.
media
I am.
because you could just type in now. You don't really even need a link. All you do is just go to the search window and just search out a name and it's the First Cup KC, and then I have the Coffee Cup Chuck page, but they're pretty much the same page, except the First Cup KC is now more towards the podcast and the shorts. Everyone's doing these little shorts now. And so that's what that is. But
What do you mean shorts? What does that mean?
So, when you do videos, you do like a podcast episode, and a lot of everyone is so go on the go now that you have to catch someone's attention by creating some sort of clickbait style of video. And shorts are short videos that capture certain moments in the video itself that draws people in to watch the actual full video to find where that short is or that subject they're speaking in the video is. So it's kind of like clickbait, but it helps people watch your episodes, because a lot of times we go into these videos, we put out a lot of videos or put out a lot of content, and you can't get people to actually watch the whole thing. The algorithm shows that people are only staying interested in your video for 2 to 3 minutes. So they find out through the algorithm of what makes people click or tick or come to your videos, and it's those parts of the video that catch your attention. Like maybe someone's talking about being raped or using drugs and overcoming that point. That's going to draw someone in to say, okay, well, I know someone that's going through drug issues, or I know I myself have been trying to quit prescription pills, or it could be anything. But by them seeing that little quick 10-second video, now they are interested. So
That sounds awesome.
It definitely works because they start doing it with some of my First Cup, the last 3 videos that we've done. And we've already, the amount of viewers to those actual videos, our algorithm shows that we have a high percentage of people watching the full videos now. So it's increased like dramatically. And it's because of that. And then all my short little 1.5-minute videos that I do on TikTok. Oh,
That's
yeah. I forgot I'm
perfect.
on
See, it's
TikTok.
all about, Danica, you were seeing that's how he's getting all his, people to follow him and do all that. I hope that opens. If you guys want to stop by, you can. It's just an open house. I will be doing a little segment and we'll have wine and appetizers, and you'll meet a lot of phenomenal people here in the Kansas City area that will be there. So it is a good idea to come by for networking. But yeah, I'm getting together with somebody, they sell Park Lane's jewelry, and they hadn't been at my book signing, and they asked if I'd come by. And so it'll be at their house, but it's an open house and everybody's invited. So yeah, do stop by, Chuck, if you can, after your event. Just shake some hands and say hi. And does that open for everybody? The little thing I dropped in there?
It opens me to all my files.
What? That Debbie event, this event page didn't work for you?
Yeah, I had to save it as a PDF, which is fine.
Yeah, just do me a favor, text it to me if you can.
Could you open it, Debbie?
I'm trying here. Let's see here.
Oh,
I
it
can
says
try
I
to
have
make it.
save it as a PDF and then it opens.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be difficult. I guess I'm being difficult. I just put my little, it's a cute little, what is it called? But just
Oh,
has the address and it's
PDF
going
does
from
open.
6:30 to 9. Did you get it?
Yeah, PDF does open once you save it.
I'll save it as a PDF.
Yeah.
Well, I will text it to Chuck and I will see you guys all tomorrow at 11. And like I said, if you could just do an evaluation, and I would love it if you come by tonight. I will be there tonight and it'll be fun. It'll be good networking, little happy hour event. I'm going to, yeah, if you guys will at least try to look over these 2 pages too. And if you, I will email you where you can download those worksheets. Okay. And you guys all go make it a great day. And it was great seeing you. And I will see everybody tonight or tomorrow.
Thank you.
Stay
All right,
positive.
bye.
people.
Bye.